It was the 5 things that we're excited about.
I know. I was just looking through the thingies.
As you're looking, we're live, so it's okay.
I always end up doing something else while we're live.
I know.
I can't see the laptop though.
It's okay.
But
we
for
got
you.
Yeah, you know.
Sometimes I want to make sure I don't look like a retard.
Oh my goodness. Ooh, and your silly comments.
Oh, I mean, by now everyone should understand.
Yep.
That's just how I roll.
Somebody's watching, so I don't know who's watching. It doesn't say until we get comments. So.
Oh, okay. Hi, everyone. I'm Miriam with Journey Beyond Divorce.
Oh, you do? Okay, and I'm Scott. Miriam, dropped the ball there, so good job.
I pointed at you. I said, that's this. I can't help it. You're not paying attention.
Oh, man. So yeah, it's one of those things that, sometimes the week gets busy and we just have things that fly off the shelf, fly off the rail sometimes. And I know you had your experience today, which was...
It was last night, but it still affected me today. Because it just always feels like I'm accommodating my ex because of changes he's making in his life. And I'm used to it by now, you would think. But at the same time, it still kind of pisses me off because he doesn't accommodate my life. So why do I have to accommodate his? Well, I know the answer to that because it's for my son. If we didn't have a kid together, I would say bye, Felicia, never have to see his face. Ever.
Well, it's one of those things. It's the joy of having a child and having to deal with the person that you had the divorce from, that you're like, oh my goodness, this is going to continue until the kid is 18 or 25, depending on what's going on.
Or just when he gets another job for the 8th time. I don't know.
Well, and it was funny because when you had stopped me that Facebook message, the bubble popped up and all I saw ended with murder. I was like...
You're like, oh shit, I'm an alibi. I don't know what to do. Don't click on it. Don't read it. Don't read it.
But you were talking and you're like, I can murder somebody. And I was like, okay.
No, I can murder him.
I know that, but was it at the point where you could have strangled somebody?
No, it just frustrated me. And it got to me last night and I ended up just going out with some girlfriends and just blowing off steam because it's going to be the last night I can go out during the week. Not that I need to go balls to the wall anyways during the week, but I am single and I can do whatever I want because I'm grown. So I went out with my girlfriends and that's all I could think about. I still didn't let it affect me or affect my night, but it's still, oh my gosh. And then today, just thinking about it. So essentially my ex got another job. And should have lost my train of thought. Good Lord. Anyways, got another job, and so he has to go in earlier than the current job that he has or had or hadn't, or I don't know. He has a passing relationship with the truth. So he has to be there at 7, and it's across town, which means he would have to drop him off at the Sitters about 6:20, 6:30 to get to work on time. The sitter doesn't get there until 7:30. First off, I'll be damned if I'm paying more money to a sitter because he has to drop him off earlier. Not my problem, not my fault. And 2, I don't think the sitter is even going to want to do that. That's early, and she's 19, so she's.
Well, you never know. Somebody may be an early riser,
but
too.
She's not gonna. 19. She's sleeping until it's 2 p.m. and then eating dinner and then going back to bed. No, that was 16. Never mind. Anyways, so our only alternative is he has to drop him off at my house early as o'clock in the morning. And I have to take Cooper to daycare every single day during the week.
Oh man, and it's one of those things. It's maybe a tough conversation, but it's
But what am I gonna do to change him? He didn't change after 8 years. He's sure as shit not gonna change now that he's not married to me and doesn't have to listen to me. It's not like maybe we could listen when we were married. So it's a waste of breath.
Well, And I think it's also you got to bring what's going on with you too, and it's tough. It's one of those things you got a divorce for a reason, and now it's like, oh shit, like it's all over again and whatnot. And so it's maybe, yeah, listen here. I don't know if you're going to listen, but we've got to understand that I've got a life that I'm taking care of, and so like.
Doesn't care about that.
And I think I can't speak for it. Like, you can't get into somebody's mind. So it's one of those things that.
No, but you can pick up on what they're currently doing and signals in other conversations. You can.
It's one of those tough things. It's like you don't want to get in the classroom of getting into somebody else's mind when sometimes it's hard to get out of our own head. So it's one of those.
Yeah, but I've known him for long enough. I know how he is.
Yeah. So I guess it's one of those things that it's just part of the season. Because you did say you've had a pretty big income amount. It's not like you're balling out and whatnot, but it's bigger than what I think you're thinking that thought it was going to be in regards to what you're doing now with job wise.
Oh, you're talking about the health insurance thing?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So it sounds like we might get a lot more clients, which we found it's a little bit less than what they projected, but still, it's going to be more than it was last year. And again, I'm going to use that to quit all my side hustles is what I call it, and just focus on my business. So if I can just get through this short time, I think that's the other thing that affected me is because I have to do my business or whatever it is in the mornings or in the evenings and on the weekends, but also sleep and eat and grocery shop and do laundry and pick up my kid, or, it's one of those, like, if it was a different season of my life when he did all this, it wouldn't bother me so much. Cause I'd have all day to just focus on my business, not interim throughout the day.
Well, and that's, I think you look at it, it's just a season of your life right now. And you've talked about your goal is to just be down to the one job as running your insurance business. Mm-hmm. So like right now, it sucks that you look at it that you're like, I was going to take that morning to do what I need to. But it may just be carving out 20 minutes a day. It's not what it sounds like. You'd like to do more, but you got to work with the cards that you've been dealt. Sometimes the cards really suck and you're like, fuck this shit.
You know what's funny though? Because, I'm so busy doing, the podcast, my business, health insurance, raising a kid, again, grocery shopping, laundry, like there's still dishes piled up in my sink. That's rare. And laundry like thrown over the dryer door, not hung up, not fold. So it's not wrinkled. It's just thrown over it because I didn't have time or the energy. So just doing all of those things, you know what's funny? It forces me to not be that perfectionist. It's because it's funny because I was calling my parents and I was just bitching at them like, you ain't gonna believe this shit. And I don't know, it just kind of dawned on me like, you know what, if I lose a client because I can't get back to them as quickly as I want to, it is what it is.
True.
So it's kind of one of those like, do I like what's going on?
Yeah.
No. But I don't know, maybe that's why I went through so much shit throughout my entire life, because God was conditioning me to become Iron Woman. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's one of those things that you can look back and kind of see the experiences, the trajectory of what's going on in your life before where you're at now. And things have occurred for a reason. It may not be the funnest reason, and it may not be the reason that you thought it was going to be. But it's one of those things that you've been prepped. Now it's just getting through it, which is the support system. And I know like people
beer helps too.
Alcohol a little bit, yeah. So, but I think you look at it too, though. You've got people that are supporting you in regards to when people are asking on Facebook for recommendations. So it's not like you're doing everything on your own either. You still got people out there.
Yeah, and I also kind of explained to my parents too, hey, there's gonna be times I just occupy them. Like even if I come over and you play with Cooper and I work for a couple of hours, that will help tremendously.
Yeah.
My dad can't do a whole lot right now because he can't bend. My dad just had surgery. And it was a success. Pins and plates or something. I don't know. The stitches looked like an extended butt crack.
Ooh, buddy.
Yeah. It's like,
That's a good one there.
Oh, yeah. So he can't really do a whole lot. So it's really all up to my mom.
Got it.
Which is typically the case anyways. Because us women are badasses. I'm just saying. You men just don't even know.
It's true. It's true. But I have to give a shout out because we did secure our second sponsor, because Poddex, which Travis Brown created, that's our first sponsor. And we've utilized those tools, which we'll pull them out again here just because it does give some different things in regards to interaction and different ideas, questions, and whatnot that we may not have thought about before. And so we'll run through that. But if you're a podcaster or you're doing live stream, Facebook Lives, that's a great tool to go utilize to enhance what you're doing, get more engagement, more interaction. And so that's poddex.com. And then we have a discount code that you can utilize. It's 10% off of your first order. And that's, yep. And so it's Let's Go 26. So capital LETSGO 26. Yeah, we got this going on.
I can't do it right though.
Well, you got to tear a ligament if you want that to happen. So
oh, that hurts doing it.
Yeah, good job with that one. We'll run through that, but then also we have a local food truck here in Colorado Springs, Tabala Fine Mexican Cuisine. Jasper Axelrad that runs Tabala, fantastic food, great owner, has a great spirit about her, very young. The food truck's been running now for almost 4 months, but she looks at that as a way to connect the community. Connect different businesses.
I know. I keep meaning to try and their food or find. I don't know.
Ooh, buddy!
I saw you tried it the other, like 4 different things.
It was so the team that she has put together, spectacular food. So we were supposed to meet up to do a one-on-one, talk some more.
Then those street tacos look delicious.
Well, we had some fine dining going on Monday night because we were supposed to go meet at 90108. But she's like, hey, can you come over here to my house? I'll let you taste some food. I was like, oh, I'm all for it.
I am there.
Woo! But
like,
yeah.
What's your address?
Yeah. So her plan, and for any small business owners out there, she's partnered with Human Interest, and I'll get the information. I'll put it in the show notes. But you can give a call to Katie. She'll do a 30-minute information call with you, deep dive, and she helps with 401k. So any small businesses that have to deal with that, this is somebody to talk to. You don't have to purchase anything with her, but after doing the call, they cover your ticket. And so what they're doing is they're working with Black Hat Distillery, and they're having a 5-course meal along with 5 different cocktails that match up with the cuisine.
Holy cow, it'd be on the floor though. Like, go ahead and Uber there and home. Got it.
That food was spectacular. So, but shout out to Jasper coming on and Tabala being the second sponsor for our show. And that's just something too that with Two Native Sons, something else that I'm working with Patrick Murakami. We put together the sponsorship platform that if you're a small business owner, reach out to us. This is another way. We're a collaborative group because there's so many different avenues that we're working with the sponsorship. So grateful for that. But I know you were bringing up an idea about the podcast was what would be something different, or what were you thinking of?
So I was just trying to come up with an idea of what, like a topic we can, instead of just this whirlwind of all over the place.
But that's how we normally run our shit.
Well,
anyway,
touche. But sometimes we don't. Like sometimes we still have that like thing.
Yeah. And
whatever.
As busy as we've been though, so it's one of these things that we're still doing.
Busy doesn't cover it.
Woo, but it's one of those things that's just being consistent. Still putting out value and content because you went through some shit. And so you may have somebody that's listening to it. And we want to give a shout out to our audience, our family that's supporting what we're doing. We're almost at 500 listens on the podcast. So it's a beautiful thing. And we're
so told Mandy wrong.
24 states. And we've got some international markets that have listened to the podcast and whatnot. But if you guys want somebody to sit down and talk to, have questions, in every show note that we have our email account that you can send us a question, anything of that. And it's TJ, so The Journey Beyond, so BD0711 at gmail.com. And you can utilize that to reach out to us. If there's something that you're going through that you would like us to discuss and share our perspective, we're more than happy just to create that safe space for you guys, our family and our audience. So, and also still looking for feedback. Don't be scared to give feedback, good, bad, indifferent. We're all looking for it. So it's just one of those things that help each other out and whatnot. So, but what were you thinking?
Ah, you're yelling at me.
You know we already do that.
I know. We're both super loud.
Hardcore.
We don't even need microphones. No, just maybe something you want to do different in your next marriage, I guess. I still am toying with the idea of not even get legally married.
Well,
like you could give me a ring, but
I would say probably just your next
state.
maybe really deep intimate relationship, not even married, because that's the thing after going through a divorce. Man, I don't know. I don't think I want to do all the hoopla and the
paperwork, the fees,
all the fun stuff. Patrick's over here. Man, let's go. You already know. Let us go. Don't be making faces.
That look is for you. By the way, I can't believe you called me a brat.
Nobody's gonna know what you're talking about, so you're bringing stuff. Oh, he knows, but nobody else knows. So
Patrick called me a brat.
Yeah,
that's something.
Well, you said that's true though too. So yeah,
I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, okay. Before we got on, she told me that it's true that Patrick they call her a brat, and she's like, no, it's true. But I don't know. I think maybe.
I accept the things about myself and move on.
And so I think with looking at that next very deep, intimate relationship, for me, it's just ultimately what I'm doing now is just showing up, being true to myself, understanding that that person is not going to complete me. I have to complete myself. They're there to complement me. And it's looking for those individuals that understand the importance of the growth mindset, understand the power of personal development, and also the fact of being an entrepreneur. It's not the easiest lifestyle.
So are you wanting another entrepreneur? Do you think it's you want to go that route because maybe they will understand?
Well, that's the thing. Like, you got a lot of people that really enjoy their 9-to-5 jobs. And so I think it's just, if they really enjoy that, like, I don't want to rip them out of that. But having somebody that understands the challenges and how this life works. Or that you may have to
work late or on Saturdays, or, I mean, being an insurance agent, you work when your clients need you to.
Yep. And I got to give a shout out to Patrick and Sharon with how their relationship works. I know Patrick speaks.
They're so cute.
Yeah, very highly of Sharon. He gives her props in regards to, look at that money.
$10.
Let's go. Sorry. But yeah, like their relationship, Patrick speaks highly of coming out of the corporate world and seeing Sharon running her own business and whatnot. And so it's one of those beautiful things that you have somebody that you can lean on and have that support system. I think that's the biggest thing though too, is my aspect when I'm looking at that is this person has to understand that I'm not here to complete them.
Right.
I'm here to complement them. And I've talked about it last week with Lauren, and I may be on my own island, but there's people that really are like, no, you're on the right path. Because I got to complete myself. I got to make myself happy. And if I happen to get in a relationship and they drift off or they're like, I'm done, because we're humans. You get into a relationship and you're at one point, and then you may just grow and have separate different things, and you can't control that person. But if you are utilizing them to fill a hole in your heart or your spirit, and you're not doing that to yourself, and then they end up walking away, that's like ripping an IV out of your arm. And now you're going to be in a lot of pain. Like there's still that heartbreak. There's still that upset. But I think the pain that comes along with it is going to be a lot less from my perspective, because I'm working on myself. I'm focusing on myself. I'm there to support that person, be a cheerleader, give them space. I think that's a big thing, though, too, is a lot of times also I know what I need to make sure I don't bring into the next relationship. And that's not somebody that's trying to solve the problem for the other person. I'm there to give space, allow them to do what they need to, and they're their own individual self. I can't go battle things for them. They have to do that themselves. But I'm here to support them and give them that space and let them know that they are going to be heard. And a lot of people are looking for that, is they just want to be heard. But too many people.
You said hurting. I'm like, what?
Well,
I don't think
yeah.
they want to be hurt.
Maybe
you're in the wrong relationship.
Maybe
sorry.
choking them out, you know,
Okay.
like
Oh gosh.
make them upset. Don't worry, like you know. But yeah, I think that's the biggest thing and whatnot. So I think let me see this one here. So this is from the interview deck. When you think about success, who comes to mind and why? So
Steve Harvey.
Okay.
Because it's something that popped up on Patrick's page the other day and I commented. And I actually got onto this binge watching of Steve Harvey, inspirational, whatever, and where he kind of came from and how he just, one, I love his faith in God. Two, I love how successful he is, but also he's just super down to earth and real. And I really like that he didn't let any of the success go to his head. And he truly does care about people.
Yeah.
So I love Steve. God, he's a trip.
Well, and if you've never heard of his story, like do you know about when he was growing up in school and whatnot? And he had talked about being on TV and the teacher's like, oh, you won't be able to get on.
Right.
He had a stuttering problem. And he actually joked that I don't know if he does it, but he's like, he sends a TV tour every year as a way to say thank you for your non-belief in me, and here you go. So
you know what's funny is that usually like if somebody tells you something, majority of the time, we want to prove that person wrong. Like, okay, look, watch this. Oh, my jewelry. Like, so yeah, it is kind of like you want to thank them almost. Like, thank you for not believing in me.
No, it's true.
Because here's what I'm doing.
Yeah. And this is a tough question because when you think about success, you ask anybody what success is and you're going to get 100,000 different answers.
Oh, absolutely.
But
some people's success is all the money in the world or whatever, you know.
And if you look at it, like if you ask, well, what's failure? You're going to get the same answer from everybody. So I think success.
Failure is I quit.
Yes. Yeah. So this is the thing that I really talk about is ready, fire, and then aim away. So you've got to really start just firing away. And that was something that I've been reading in the Buddha and the Badass. And so I would highly recommend anybody that's listening to this podcast, that's watching the live stream, go check out the book. I'll put an affiliate link for the book through Amazon that you can go purchase. But it's one of those things that he was talking about. Everybody wants to like know 95% of what happens. And maybe they have 80% correct. He's like, go with that 80% because if you try to do 95%, you're missing out on stuff. And then as you need to pivot, because you could potentially implement another project as you have this one coming in. And he was showing a picture of what plan A is it's a straight path from the idea to success. And then plan B from idea to success. And it's all over the place. But he's like, really, everybody's going to say A is the way to go. But he's like, if you really think about it, A, that's a lot of overthinking. People are like, it's got to be perfect and this and that. And he's like, with plan B, you start going and then you get here and you're like, okay, we got to adjust. And then you move. And so you're moving as you're going. You're not waiting for that end result. Everybody's like, I need to know 100% of the pictures. Like, no, just go.
Well, you're not going to know anything in the future. If your relationship's going to work out, business, kids that are going to act a fool when they older. I worry about that.
And so, like, when you think about success, who comes to mind and why? I'm honestly going to brag on myself because what I've overcome, where I'm at now, the relationships that I have, different things that are coming up, it's just a moving and grooving thing. And so I've got to give myself props because I didn't let the divorce, like, determine who I was. And so I'm going to pat myself on the back. It's okay because I'm grateful.
How about that?
Hey, there
I'll
you
do
go.
it for you.
So, but I'm grateful because this is the thing, though, too. And it's one of those unique things that last night we went down to a new club, Coates, down on Tejon. And so they had a music night. It's fantastic. They got 60 different food stands in there. They had live music. So
food stands?
Yeah. Different food that you can go choose from. Like they had Korean street food, sandwich shop, sweets, ice cream. They got everything under the sun.
Hey.
But it was fun because last night they had live music. And so I was hanging out with Q and shit. We were going and grooving and whatnot. I was having fun. But it's just being there and whatnot and just seeing it but it's one of those things that I'm grateful. But they had a gratitude room, so they were pulling people in, videotaping, and the guy's like, who are you grateful for and what are you grateful about? And I was like, for me, I'm grateful for my business partner, Patrick Murakami, and then also grateful for you as my co-host. And then he's like, well, what are you grateful for? And I was like, the business that we're producing right now, the growth that's taking place, and we will impact 1 billion people, and we will be a $1 billion enterprise. And I got to figure out what the whole situation is behind billion, because I was talking to somebody else and they also want to impact 1 billion people. I was like, so I got to go look at some whatever's going on here. But that's our plan. That's our dream. And we're putting it out. If we miss it and only impacts 500 million people, that's still a lot more than us just sitting here and saying, we want to do everything, but we're not going to put any actions towards it.
Right.
And so that's kind of where we
do nothing, you get no results.
Yeah. And so that's kind of where we came across getting Tabala as a sponsor for the podcast and the whole space.
Man, I can't wait to eat their food.
Woo! You're going to love it.
I know. Are they around this? Tomorrow Saturn's supposed to be 60s.
I don't know what they're doing tomorrow. You can look her up and see. I don't know if they have anything on the docket for what they're doing. But every Wednesday they're at the food truck rally for the most part on Woodman and over by the Walmart over there. They've got different food trucks. So I went over there.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so I went over there Wednesday and I was looking for Jasper with Tabala. They weren't there. They were somewhere else. So I went and tried Scratch Kitchen. Ooh, that hamburger was delicious.
Really?
Yes.
There's one place that I guess it does a lot of was it lobster or something? Like it's expensive.
Yeah, Bob's Lobster Trap. They just opened up.
Okay, yeah. Somebody was just telling me about that.
Yep. So
they're expensive, but I mean, it's
you're doing with seafood. What do you expect?
God,
Ooh, buddy, but yeah, no, it's just one of those things that we're just putting out the action, and I think that's a lot of people will say, okay, this is what I want in life, but they don't put any action behind it. They're like, this is the type of person I want to attract, but it's like, what are you doing for yourself to attract that person? Are you working on yourself to attract that person, or are you just putting this hope and dream and wish out and not working on yourself?
True, and that's. Sorry, thought I heard something weird.
It was my shoe.
Okay. It's like, what is that noise? Like, oh God, there's a ghost in my house. Okay. What?
Patrick said he's driving, but I'm here, brat. Oh, yes. Gotta love him. Hey, don't be making noises and making faces. You love Patrick.
First, I'm going to tell me what to do.
Yeah.
Because then I'm just going to do the opposite.
That's fine.
Like tenfold.
Maybe that's my whole means behind this.
And by the way, Patrick, I hope you're having a good week. So
I'm actually going over to their house tomorrow.
I know, you told me. That's why we moved it to today, so that way you can.
No, it was supposed to be that. So funny story on that was we were supposed to have it last Sunday, and then Sharon's like, we can't. Maddox has a birthday party to go to. Can we do it Saturday? I was like, all right, cool. I thought it was last Saturday. And then Patrick's like, hey, why did you invite Scott over when you have a girls' night planned? Are you planning on cooking for us before you go? And she's like, I told him the 24th. And Patrick's like, I don't think you did. And she's like, oh. And she went and looked and she's like, I did not. So, and Patrick did a lunch and learn today. And she's like, I'm so sorry. I was like, you're fine. We're all busy.
By the way, I have not been invited over for dinner.
Hey.
Throwing it out there. Anyways, yeah, we do this whole thing, don't we?
That's the joy of what we're doing. Letting people see into our lives. And just know that, hey, if you've gone through a divorce and you're on that journey after, you'll be okay.
Something else that I was going to talk about.
Well, what about yourself? I've already talked about for me for next relationship. Man, coming up with this topic.
I know. I came up with the topic and I don't have, like.
Oh, man.
First off, it's definitely finding someone that is 10 times better at communication. Thanks, Patrick.
Don't you worry. You'll be over there one day.
Right?
You'll be special just like me.
Because I've not met your wife, Sharon. And I've heard she's, like, adorable. I'm probably going to vomit because you guys' relationship is so cute.
No.
No, I'm just kidding. anyways, I don't know. I definitely want to make sure I find someone that wants to communicate, but also work on my wording. I used to have a lot of anger issues, so I will give my ex that. But again, he was awful at communication, flip things and deflect or whatever. I'm like, wait, I started being mad at you and you're the one mad at me. How did you do that? That's crafty. But again, just making sure I keep calm because I used to just blow up. And I've done a lot of work over the years just to keep my anger in check. So it's definitely making sure, one, I keep my anger in check. And two, again, making sure I find someone that wants to communicate, and won't just turn it back on me.
Anything else? So I'm guessing based on your premises, the biggest thing that you're looking for is communication.
I don't think it's top one. Because again, I started making that list and I haven't had it. That was the other thing. Oh my gosh, Scott, I about burned a building down. Sorry.
What is he? Patrick's over here. Let's see. Not sure if it makes you feel better. We were both divorcees too. Oh, that is true. Patrick had told me that they both went through divorce.
That doesn't make you any less cute, though. You're still adorable.
Oh my
I see your photos on Facebook. They're so cute. Sorry. No, so I was supposed to have my first therapy appointment the other day.
Ooh, yeah, I remember you telling me about this.
Oh, my Lord. I'm telling you. Again, I really have tried to keep my anger in check. But, man, once I get there, it's bad. But I still remain calm with the people that I did speak to. So, essentially, they sent me this message. Hey, here's the link for the virtual therapy session. Perfect. Great. Awesome. Got another one at 5:10 because it started at 5:30. Make sure you check in 15 minutes before. Great. Awesome. Fantastic. So get home, pull up that one link, and it says, your appointment has been canceled or moved. Please call the office. I'm like, there's no way they canceled it 20 minutes before without calling me prior to. And come to find out, I had logged in, the therapist had logged in, but something wasn't connecting. And so I'm calling the office, which is closed. And then I left a message for the on-call person. They called me, told me to call the urgent care because they can't pull me up in the system. So I called urgent care, and urgent care put me on hold. And then the phone started just ringing for 5 minutes. So I hung up, called back, got somebody. They almost put me on hold. And I said, no, ma'am, you cannot. Because they asked me, like, can I put you on hold? I'm like, no, ma'am. And here's why.
Ooh, man.
And so then I'm telling her, and she's like, okay, let me figure something out. Put me back on hold and got the therapist on the phone, which proceeded to explain, I've been on the call this whole time. Like, ma'am, so have I. But my thing is, you had my chart. Why didn't you call me after 5 minutes and go, hey, are you still going to make the appointment? Right? I'm like, so what you don't understand is, what if I was looking forward to this call all day, or I was on the verge of almost being suicidal and I was so happy about, being able to talk to a therapist? Well, I would have referred you to the suicide center. I'm like, but how can you refer me somewhere if you're not talking to me? So it was just, yeah. So I won't go back. That was my first therapy appointment. Made it worse.
Ooh, man.
So I had beer.
Oh, that's all good. So, because I know I've got some of that I was looking up, and it was just kind of like FAQs for divorce. This last part that I came across, I was like, oh my goodness, like we've got too much going on here with too many state controlled aspects and whatnot. But
I don't know if I'll legally get divorced again.
Next question here is from another interview deck. What is the weirdest thing you find attractive in a person? Why is your leg all flopping around like this?
Because the first thing that popped in my head was Jason Momoa.
The weirdest thing you find
because he's rough around the edges. I like men that are kind of rough around the edges. Yeah, that's what it is.
Woo! All right. I would say probably just a very quirky laugh. just because that's a vibrant thing about people, and it comes down to the fact that they don't give a shit what people think. Bring it, let's go.
Unless you sound like Fran Drescher.
No, hell no. Actually, I was looking at a card in here, and they were talking about would you like to have your life narrated by Guilford Gottfried with the real high pitched dude, or Fran Drescher? That's funny that
Gilbert all the way. Oh my, like his voice doesn't get on my nerves for some reason. I don't know why. And her voice doesn't either, but gotta love me some Gilbert though. Then I just think of that little bird in Aladdin.
So this is, and I have to get, and this is so weird. And this is a FAQ, a frequently asked question, off of a site. It was number 10. What is a covenant marriage? And when I started reading this, I was like, are you kidding me? So covenant marriage is a relatively new creation in 3 states, Arizona, Arkansas, and Louisiana. It came into being largely due to efforts of conservative Christians who disagree with the modern trend towards no-fault divorce. In order to enter into a covenant marriage, the couple must go to premarital counseling, then sign a document called a declaration of intent. So the premarital counseling, I understand and whatnot.
I was going to say, I think everybody should do premarital.
This document called
opinion only.
Declaration of Intent, like,
what does that mean?
I have no idea. Didn't get into that. But in the Declaration of Intent, the parties promise to disclose anything they believe may jeopardize their marriage relationship and to preserve their marriage if problems arise.
Cheating. So wouldn't that be man. I mean, because I would have gone through anything with him, but the cheating was, cheating since he did it.
It says the parties also agree that they may not use the state's no-fault divorce law and may only obtain a divorce if one party commits adultery. So there you go, cheating, domestic violence, or is a felon that results in jail time. However, a party to a covenant marriage may still obtain a no-fault divorce in another state that does not recognize covenant marriage. But then if you go to another state, you have to have residency status. And they said the two.
But what's the difference between covenant marriage and regular marriage? Because, I mean, that's...
Like covenant marriage says you're not going to use the no-fault if the state's a no-fault state. So the only way you can have a divorce is by having either adultery, domestic violence, or having the aspects of a felony as he is mad about something. So Cooper's out here controlling the situation. It's all good. But no, those are the only 3 that if you're going to have a divorce, it's either adultery or so either adultery, domestic violence, or a felon. That would be the only way that you could have a divorce.
Okay. I see.
But that's the thing. It's like, okay, so if there's more to that than just that, though, it's having more regulation and control. And you're trying to control people's lives and whatnot. So
I don't understand the whole control factor.
Yeah, I have no idea.
It's okay. All right. All right.
He was playing with the box last week. That green box almost got destroyed.
He's gonna rip it.
It's okay. It's a box. Then I just put it in.
Another box.
Hey, at least he knows what to do with it. It's good. What's up, man? There you go.
I'm so glad you got that.
Yep. That actually may be the ear nugget for this episode. Just that little clip there. So
that was adorable. Okay. Oh, sorry, I'm crying.
But you had something else that you were gonna bring up. That
I did?
I don't know. I thought you did.
I already did with the therapy thing, and then the.
Oh, maybe that's what it was.
Yeah.
So I don't know. But yeah, sometimes like the shows, like we don't have anything that we've talked about, and it's just because we're so busy and different things going on, which is okay, Like what we're going through though, and things that we're experiencing though, can be one of those things that could benefit somebody else. Yeah, we got
my son's cute.
Cooper on the show. It's all good.
Oh my god, he's adorable.
I love Cooper. So
but he did come from me, so. No.
All right. What set of items could you buy that would make the cashier the most uncomfortable?
Duct tape, an axe, and trash bags. Because I'm about to go commit a murder.
Not okay.
You wouldn't like think that, or like the Breaking Bad situation, like a plastic tub and a bunch of acid.
No, like that person's got some interesting things going on. We go like American Pie style, some cantaloupe, some lube.
No, it was a pie, not cantaloupe. Wouldn't a watermelon feel? Sorry, never mind. Sorry. Anyways,
what did you say?
So wouldn't watermelon feel better than a cantaloupe? I don't know. Where did you really have to pull that off my? Okay.
Now he's a ghost.
He's a weirdo. That's what he is. But he's my weirdo. Oh,
reddish, pinkish.
It's coral. It is coral.
Reddish, pinkish.
Coral.
No. We're having an argument over here about colors. But you know what? I think this is just the one thing, just with life and whatnot. It's just showing up, being unscripted sometimes, and well, not sometimes, all the time. But yeah, I think you've talked.
Okay.
As the camera goes all over the place.
I'm gonna mess this up, and
you gotta turn it.
Oh no! It's, I don't.
You're gonna have to go a little bit. It's all good.
Well, I was trying to keep it like close to us so that I can't. Another pearl.
But yeah, no, it's one of the things that just with the podcast, it just allows us to have a creative outlet. I know you greatly enjoy it. You've said that it's just one of those things that you look forward to.
Mm-hmm.
So, anything else?
I guess go backwards as far as like the anger thing. It's not that it's bad to be angry. It's what you do because you're angry.
True.
Because a lot of times we're like, well, don't get so upset or don't be angry. Like, but anger is still an emotion, and it's okay. It just depends on what you do with that anger. So if I am going to the store for trash bags and Axe and duct tape, I'm acting out on my anger and tell them about the.
And I think though you could use that anger as a way to increase your creative juices too. Though, you can go different routes.
Sometimes I write more in my book. Sometimes when I'm pissed off. Ooh, actually, I made a good.
What is Flip saying? Scott, you could bring up the topic we spoke about today and how probable good marriages and fathers were. Oh, okay. Yeah. So this was actually Flip and I with Q. We were talking in regards that like everybody's like, we need good fathers and whatnot. But he's like, think about when civilization started. People weren't living until like age 40. And so a lot of times you had individuals that as men, 18-year-olds, had kids and they were having to go fight wars and they were getting killed off and whatnot. And so it's one of those interesting things that it's like we need a good marriage. We need good fathers and whatnot. But you have this fact that when civilization was being developed, war was taking over. You have the issue where the men were going out to war and whatnot and dying. And so the fathers were going out there non-existent. And then you had the mothers that were staying home and taking care of kids. And they were dying because of rampant disease and whatnot. And then you may have these women that are having 4 kids.
What the heck did you guys talk about today? Okay. Right. What is back then? Okay, go ahead.
But he's like, think about it. That wife's having the 4th kid, and the 4th kid wants to turn around and kill the mother. But yeah, it's one of those things that it's a trajectory that just keeps spinning down. And so you just have these things that constantly build upon themselves and are non-existent. And so that's all good.
Stop. You're enough.
So we'll have to get into that topic some more. I'll have to bring Flip on. So that's a good topic. I know Flip had brought it up. So Flip brought a very good perspective on this because I
still don't understand the correlation. Can you explain the correlation of talking about
good marriages
way back? But what? Okay, go ahead. I don't understand what the way back then thing has anything to do with, first off, nowadays. Because it's like many years later. Not even like,
So here's a topic that the book I've been reading, Come As You Are. And so it's about female sexuality. And they were talking about the way they had named terminology wise for female sex organs at that time, they're hidden. And so they're inside the body as it's been developed. And in medieval times, they actually gave it the name that came out to mean ashamed, because female sex organs are inside the body and you can't see them. And so back in medieval times, they're like, well, they're hidden, so they're ashamed. And
boobs aren't inside the body?
they're talking about like the penis and the uvula and all that, or the vulva. But think about how that has spun down from generation to generation. Because we were talking a little bit about how as guys can go have sex with a bunch of women and be like, yeah, bro, you're the guy. And then women do it, and women are like, oh, you're a slut, you're a whore, all this craziness. But it's just the ideology that gets passed down from generation to generation.
It's also a culture thing. Because just like here, like in Australia, they have like nude beaches all the time. Like everywhere. Like husband and wife just walking down, everything's flopping around. But here it's like, ooh, gosh, taboo. But so it's also a culture thing too.
Yeah, well, that's like we talked about sex languages.
Mm-hmm.
Sex is a taboo topic that people don't want to talk about, which is it's a natural human tendency. And sex for humans is more than just reproduction. It's that intimacy parts coming close together. So it's one of those topics that people don't want to talk about. And I love how at the end of our show, we got into these different things. So, hey, this is how it works.
This is called the Bumblebee podcast, where it's like this.
But I think it's one of those things that when you go through a divorce, I know for me, going through the divorce, I've really gotten into different things, reading, studying wise, that when I was married originally, I would have never even looked into. And so like the sex language piece, like we had talked about, which I don't even remember, it was about 2 months ago. If you go look up that episode, it's the no S word. Because we
were F word. I thought you put no F word.
No, I changed it to S word.
I was wondering, I'm like,
no S word.
Okay.
No talk about sex. We don't talk about that here.
Right.
But it's one of those things that maybe if I would have known about this in my previous marriage, maybe it would have been a little bit different. But I don't know. I can't go back in time. All I can do is look and say, okay, what did I need to learn from this situation going forward? And so that's something that, along with love languages, which we've talked about that too. It's
talked about it all now.
I know, but that's the thing.
Recycle things.
When you start looking and you start realizing that there was shit that wasn't talked about, that's not talked about. Because think about it. How many people are going to say, here's the sex languages? Not many, unless they're very comfortable with that topic.
I think it's like men are probably more apt to talk about it than women, because again, it's that shame factor that if we talk about it, we sound like whores. But when you guys talk about it, you just sound like.
And that's the stupid shit that we deal with.
I know. Trust me. I know. I'm a woman.
And it's stupid.
You get high-fived and I get looked at like, girl. I'm like, wait, hold on.
And I think culture's starting to change and whatnot, but it's still stuff that we really have to start changing paradigms, looking at different things, because sexuality is a very healthy thing. But if you don't talk about it, it's a shameful thing for whatever reason. And it's because people are growing up and it wasn't ever talked about.
That's why I was very grateful about my dad. Like there was something me and my friend came across online, dial up. And I talked to my dad about it, and he explained the whole thing, and he talked to me about it, and he's like, it's a beautiful thing, and blah, blah, blah. And it was not like, oh God, you found this. It was here. Like, I love that my dad did that and approached it that way instead of it being this shameful thing.
Yeah.
So that was that for my upbringing. Yeah, it's weird that it's my dad, but my mom was not very talkative way back then. So she definitely wouldn't have.
Well, it's the same thing that I've talked to my oldest daughter about, the whole aspect of her period. Because she's at that age that may start happening, that may start occurring. And as her father, it's something that I've never experienced, but being married, going through life and whatnot, it's a normal part of being a female. And so it's got to have those open dialogues with your kids, because if something happens, I don't want her to get ashamed and get fearful and say, well, I can't talk to dad about this. no, I want that open dialogue because it makes it so much simpler to have them be open to talk about different things. And so that perspective that you had with you and your dad, now that really stuck with you. So now with you and Cooper,
I'll keep it the same.
Yeah.
Like if my son wants to talk to me, great. If he doesn't, that's fine. But he still has that option, and he doesn't feel like I can't talk to mom about those things.
Yeah. So like I said, this is just a funny situation with the show.
Where are we at time-wise? I can't.
Like up there in the corner of the red box.
I know, but it's so tiny.
It's 58 minutes and
Thank
10
you.
seconds. Oh, she's got some thoughts going on right now. She's like,
No.
"Ooh."
No, I was fine. I was just being ornery. Oh, I'm sorry, a brat.
That's what we love about you.
Is it?
I love it. I enjoy it. So I wouldn't change it.
Because it's not going to change. Because after 35, it's shit. Well, there's change, and then this is just my personality.
Yep, and I accept you for who you are. So
there's definitely no black or white with me. People love me or hate me. There's not. She's okay.
That's how we have to live life. You either love me or hate me. There's no in between.
I'm not mad at my personality.
And that's some stuff that we've talked about with Two Native Sons and some merch line for that. So we're always talking about imperfect action. So that's going to end up being on a shirt soon. Got to take imperfect action.
Okay. I want to see the illustration for that, please.
Oh, we got some ideas. Don't worry. We got actually Hype Design. Patrick Massey, he's doing a lot of our work for us. So got to give him a shout out just for what he does and bringing dreams alive and whatnot. So anybody that's looking for graphic design work, talk to Patrick Massey. You can find him on Facebook. Hype Designs, his company, does some spectacular stuff. So anything else since we started and then went sidetracked, went sideways, went all over the place, which I won't have it any other way.
Sorry, I didn't mean to go that high.
So again, thank you guys for your time. Thank you for joining us on this crazy episode of the Journey Beyond Divorce. We truly are grateful for the individuals that are providing value, finding value in what we're doing. I know we get a lot of people that speak highly about what we're doing, just the need for what we're providing, the honesty, the open communication here, the raw, real, uncut, unscripted shit that we're doing. But as we always say, if you find value in this, share it with other individuals that you know that could benefit from this. Also, we do have our Facebook group. So if you'd like to join that, there are a couple questions that we have set up that you need to answer before you join the group.
Right. If you just hit submit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, look, we can see that. So the Facebook group is After Divorce, Grace, Laughter, and Lessons. So come and join us in that group. It's all good. So it fits us very well. But all we ask is if you find value in this and this is something that truly is helping you, go rate, review, share, like, comment on the platforms that you can. I know Apple Podcasts, you're able to do that. Other podcasts, I don't know about that with the platforms, but you can follow us, you can like us and whatnot. That's ultimately our idea with this, is giving the value to people, because a lot of times going on this journey, you feel like you're on an island by yourself and you don't know what to do. So we just want to give you that safe space, that tribe that you know there are people going through it, have gone through it, and are on the other side, and you'll be able to make it through. It's not the easiest and it sucks. I understand. Miriam understands. But it's just giving that safe space to you as an individual to know that you're heard and understood, and we know what's happening. So other than that, we will catch you guys next week. Again, thank you for your time, and we appreciate the support.
By the way, don't be like throwing me into this crazy podcast. I'm not crazy.
Crazy? What are you talking about?
Just kidding. Anyways, we can't end until I go, bye.
Peace. Love you guys.